Hey guys, this lesson is on division with remainders. We've already talked about division without remainders, but let's review our DMSB, does McDonald's serve burgers, or our steps for long division. First we divide, then multiply, then subtract, then bring down, and then we repeat that process for every number in the dividend. Now today's lesson is a little bit different because we're going to be looking at what we do when we have a remainder. So if I have a remainder, that means that my divisor doesn't fit evenly into my dividend, which means that I'm going to have some left over. So it's kind of like saying I have 9 apples. And I want to group these apples by 2, and I'm going to give each of my friends 2 apples, and I want to know how many friends I can give those apples to. Well, that means I have to divide my 9 apples into groups of 2. So there's 1 group, 2 groups, 3 groups, and 4 groups. So I can give 4 friends 2 apples, but I'm also going to have this 1 apple left over, and that's what we would call a remainder. So I would have 4 groups of 2 apples with a remainder of 1 apple, or 4 remainder 1. So 9 divided by 2 would equal 4 remainder 1, and that would be my quotient. Now let's look at some examples. So at the top I have my DMSB, divide, multiply, subtract, bring down. So in 38 divided by 4, I'm going to start with that number 3 in the dividend on the inside, and I'm going to divide it by 4. Well, 4 can't fit into 3. I could not take 3 cookies and make a group of 4 with those cookies. So 4 fits 0 times into the number 3. I'm still going to do my multiplication and my subtraction and bring down my 8. Well, I know that 4 goes into 38 9 times, because 4 times 9 is 36. When I do that, I can look at the multiples of 4. 4 times 1 is 4, times 2 is 8, times 3 is 12, times 4 is 16, times 5 is 20, times 6 is 24, times 7 is 28, times 8 is 32, times 9 is 36, and times 10 is 40. Well, 40 would be too much, so I needed to stop at 36. Well, 36 is the 9th multiple of 4, so 4 goes into 38 9 times. Now I can do my subtraction, but there's nothing else for me to bring down. There's no other number right here that I can bring down. So what I have here is a remainder. So 38 divided by 4 would be 9 with a remainder of 2. So that's a pretty simple process. I want you to try 90 divided by 7 on your own. So when I look at 90 divided by 7, I know I'm going to start by dividing 9 by 7. 7 will go into 9 once, and then I have to do my multiplication. 1 times 7, because I multiply the numbers on the outside. 1 times 7 is 7. When I subtract, I get 2. Bring down the 0, and that's 20. Well, 7 will only go into 20 twice, because 7 times 3 would be 21, and that's too much. 2 times 7 is 14. and when I subtract, I get 6. There's nothing left to bring down, so I know that I have a remainder in my answer. So my answer will be 12 with a remainder of 6. Now we're going to look at some similar problems that have more numbers in the dividend. The process is exactly the same. We're still going to divide, multiply, subtract, and bring down. And we'll still have a remainder when there's no other numbers to bring down, as long as we don't have a 0. So looking at 942 divided by 4. Well, 4 will fit into 9 2 times. 2 times 4 is 8. 9 minus 8 is 1. And then I bring down the 4. So I divided, multiplied, subtracted, and brought down. Now I'm going to start that process over with the number 14. 4 will go into 14 3 times. 3 times 4 is 12. Subtract, I get 2. Bring down that other 2. And now I can start that process over. I'm going to divide 22 by 4, which is 5. I'm going to multiply 5 times 4, which is 20. I'm going to subtract 22 minus 20, which is 2. And there's nothing else for me to bring down right here, so I know that I'm finished. So my answer would be 235 with a remainder of 2. Now I want you to try 836 divided by 9 on your own. Okay, let's go over 836 divided by 9. I know that 9 won't fit inside of 8, so above the 8 I'll put a 0. I'm still going to finish the process of multiplying, subtracting, and bringing down. 0 times 9 is 0. I'm going to subtract and I get 8, bring down the 3. And now I can start the process again with the number 83. When I'm looking at multiples of 9, I have 9 is the first multiple, then 18, 27, 36, 45, 54, 63, 72, 81, 90. Well, I'm going to have to see which multiple is 81 because 90 is too much and 72 is not enough. So if I label my multiples, I know that 9 will fit into 83 9 times. 9 times 9 is 81. Subtract and bring down. Now I'm going to start that process again. 9 will fit into 26 twice. 9 times 2 is 18. When I subtract, I get 8. So my answer for this one is 92 with a remainder of 8. Now we're going to take it just a little further with 4 numbers in the dividend. Again, the process is exactly the same. We're going to work through each number, doing our divide, multiply, subtract, and bring down. I know that 2 will go into 3 once. 1 times 2 is 2. When I subtract, I get 1, and I bring down the 7. Now I can move on and start that process again. I know 2 will go into 17 8 times. 8 times 2 is 16. When I subtract, I get 1, and I bring down the 4. Start over at divide. I know that 2 will go into 14 7 times. 7 times 2 is 14. Subtract, I get 0, and I bring down the 9. Now, 2 will go into 9 4 times. 4 times 2 is 8. When I subtract, I get 1. There's nothing else to bring down, so I know that I'm finished, and my quotient is 1,874 with a remainder of 1. Now I want you to try 4,306 divided by 6 on your own. Okay, let's go over that problem. I know that I have to start with the 4, but 6 doesn't go into 4, so that gets a 0. When I multiply, 0 times 6 is 0. When I subtract, I'll get 4 and bring down the 3. I know that 6 will go into 43 7 times, and that 7 times 6 is 42. When I subtract, I get 1, and I bring down the 0. Now I can start the process over again with the dividing. 10 divided by 6 is 1. 1 times 6 is 6. When I subtract, I get 4 and bring down the 6. 46 divided by 6 is going to be 7. 7 times 6, again, is 42. When I subtract, I get 4. There's nothing else for me to bring down, so I know that my quotient is 717 with a remainder of 4. So whether you have a remainder or not, remember that you're always going to divide, multiply, subtract, and bring down for each number as you progress through the digits in the dividend.